This is somewhere else, maybe Malaubang, but this was taken at the height of Typhoon Sendong, which is 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Huwag tayo mag-i-slate and do not put us drawings here.
May I just be
You
allowed
can
to
put
continue?
up the
Yes,
best drawings here. That this is not the
Please, noted, DS Marcoleta.
I'm continuing raising my objection because
Yes, sige, mag-object
hello.
ka kung gusto mo.
the author, Mr. Chair, is maliciously maligning already my name.
He wanted to remedy this by filing a bill. The title of his bill is
Mr. Chair, objection,
seeking-
this is still my time.
seeking to
No.
reconvert.
That is not my intention,
I'm
Mr.
making
Chair.
a point of order.
No, and your point of
He is
order does
trying
not
to make-
german to the subject matter of the case.
Stop. 2 minute suspension.
The residents of the area, Mr. Chair, there are about 100 beneficiaries, residents, more or less. Of this,
Mr. Chair, may I make a manifestation that this slide was taken during the height of Sendong, Typhoon Sendong. Minimislead
Mr.
mo
Chair,
yun.
he can
We're
make
being misled,
manifestation
Mr.
later.
Chair. This was taken during the Typhoon Sendong, Mr. Chair, not in Laman. This is not in Laman.
Noted,
This in
noted.
Laman.
Mr.
Noted,
Chair.
please do not engage.
Is
on
this in
question.
Barangay Laman? I want to ask him. Is Barangay
Is this in
Laman?
Barangay Laman?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
That is not
That
in
is
Laman,
the-
Mr. Chair.
I
I will ask residents.
Let
During
Please
this
listen,
time, during the ethics
please do not
committee,
engage
they will
one another and ask
identify
the
all
chair
this.
directly your questions.
Mr.
Yeah.
Chair, this slide is misrepresenting and he is misleading this court, this committee. This is not in Laman. This is somewhere else, maybe Malaubang, but this was taken at the height of Typhoon Sendong, which is 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Huwag tayo mag-i-slate and do not put us drawings here.
May I just be
You
allowed
can
to
put
continue?
up the
Yes,
best drawings here. That this is not the
Please, noted, DS Marcoleta. Please proceed. DS Oaminal, you have already consumed 12 minutes of your time.
The government was able to immediately start the project after the negotiation because the residents voluntarily. There is only one, Mr. Chair, which is the client of the author, the Neri family. And the Neri family, until now, the house is not yet demolished. Can you please show the picture of the Neri family? But anyway, and Mr. Chair, the one which was presented by D.S. Marcoleta, the one with backhoe and the one those shouting, are not, that is not the site which the buildings have been constructed now, have been constructed. That is actually on the opposite side. And that particular incident, Mr. Chair, the one shouting there are not the residents of that particular building because that particular house that was already vacated by the owner because Mrs. Regina Garcines, because there was already a writ of possession issued by the court, and the owner had complied, no, respectfully complied with the writ of possession. So the one that was shouting there is not really the residents. It was a fake voice, Your Honor, of the Neri family because that particular house is adjacent or close to that Neri family, which is the client of the author, which I said there is the house is not yet demolished until at present. Mr. Chair, the resolution calls for illegal demolition. As manifested by the local government of Osami City, there is no illegal demolition because it's the owners that temporarily that dismantle their houses after they have been paid and settled by the government, by the local government, and then because after the completion of the project, they will have to be to return the area because they are the beneficiaries. That is why we are now raising an issue on who are the complainants because until now the author has not informed this body on who are the complainants so that we could have asked the complainants if they have really houses which are being demolished because the issue of the resolution is illegal demolition and harassment. No, so with that, Mr. Chair, that's why we are protesting that particular video presentation. No, which has that one which showed that there are people shouting scary voice in the process of the clearing on that particular area. And again, that particular house is not yet part of the area where the ongoing construction of the projects. I would like also to mention, because in the opening statement of the author, that there is that 15 million, part of the 50 million, which is also part of the Malaubang project, that he was insinuating that the implementation of the project is not in accordance with the law because it is a public land. We maintain, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, that the government projects should always be in the public land, on the government land. That is why when it is a private land, it has to be purchased by the government, and in the absence of, if there is a failure of the negotiation, the government has to resort to expropriation. I would also take exemption on the manifestation of the author, although it is not part, supposedly, of the resolution, but he had mentioned of that House bill that I filed converting that particular property in Malaubang into an alienable for the use of commercial and private purposes. I would move, Mr. Chair, that it should be stricken part of the record because it is not part of this. It's not part of the resolution. It is not germane to the subject matter of this resolution, and it is, I believe, an intrusion, no, to the right of this representation to file bill which he believed is for the best interest of his district.
Mr. Chair, I
And-
thought he was going to make a presentation of the project only. He's already controverting what I have already asked from the, from the resource persons.
It is his time. It is his 30 minutes. Now he has only 10 minutes. So
And his interruption was deducted in that 10 minutes, Mr. Chair.
not yet. We will deduct it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So, I'm manifest, Mr. Chair, that should be deleted because that is not part. And I feel maliciously malign with that particular
Can we-
presentation,
Can we
Mr. Chair.
strike that, Mr.
because-
Chair? I'm not making any malicious accusation here.
No, Mr. Chair, that is still my time, Mr. Chair. No.
Can we strike from the record what he is trying to allude to me, Mr. Chair? I'm not making any malicious accusation.
Yeah,
Okay. I will rule after you give me a little airtime. If you are keep on debating each other, I cannot rule on the two requests. First, on the DSA Oaminal, since it is
Oaminal, Mr. Chair.
Oaminal, since this is not in the resolution, the third project, let us limit to the Laman project.
Yeah, that's why, Mr.
Yes, I rule on that favor.
Yeah, that is,
Laman,
yeah,
building 1 and 2.
yes, Mr. Chair. That's why
Yeah.
I am
Mr. Chair,
part of my
I
manifestation
would
that
like
it should be
to
stricken on the
inform the
record.
chair
Yes.
that the project includes the third project. For example,
So,
in-
are you
the
saying
vessel-
this is part of one contract?
Yes, it's part of one contract. The contract is this,
What?
19KJ0186.
Yes.
What is the construction of multipurpose building, open and close parentheses, housing project, cluster
1
with
and 2.
site development. So,
In Laman and in
The-
the other
the
barangay.
multipurpose are two types of building. These are condo types comprising of two buildings. And the cluster is in Malubang. So it is encompassed in one title only. This is the contract. That is
Okay,
why
then
is
I
why
stand to
he's
be
not
corrected.
correct.
If this is one contract, one government project, one allocation in the GAA, then this is part of the hearing.
Mr. Chair.
The only question, Mr. Chair, is the funding.
That is not my point, Mr. Chair, that I want to be stricken out of the record. What I want to be stricken out of the record was part of his presentation of the House bill that I filed, converting that particular area into an alienable property, Mr. Chair.
What
That
are
is
you
not
saying?
part-
The press conference, the
No, Mr. Chair. He was mentioning about the bill that I filed currently, and he was even insinuating if I made a disclosure.
it is premature to rule on that because we cannot rule on that yet because we haven't heard the facts of that particular case. This is just a one sentence allegation of one of the 8.
No.
Yeah,
It's not part of the 8, Mr. Chair.
it's not part of the 8.
Yeah, he was just mentioning about the House bill, which I am making. The House bill that I filed 8095, Mr. Chair. This is a separate House bill, no, which is not part of the agenda. This is not part of the resolution.
Mr. Chair,
He
the
was.
cluster housing, Mr. Chair, was built on a public land.
Yes.
And belatedly, he filed
Yes, I
He filed
remember.
a bill
I remember. Let me.
to remedy the situation,
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I heard.
Because that particular public land is inalienable. It is not disposable. So he wanted to remedy this by filing a bill. The title of his bill is
Mr. Chair, objection.
seeking-
It is still my time.
seeking to
No.
reconvert.
That is not my intention,
I'm
Mr.
making
Chair.
a point of order.
No. And your point of
He is
order does
trying
not
to make-
german to the subject matter of the case.
Stop. 2-minute suspension.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Now we have the second round. The first round has been finished. Who will avail the same order? Chair DS Marcoleta, you may proceed 30 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, I'd like to make a record that the residents of Osamis that gave rise to this resolution is not only a single family, Mr. Chair. In fact, I will have to already inform the representative of the Office of the Court Administrator that a case was already filed with the Supreme Court directly, considering that this was made in extreme urgency, and considering further that the courts are in lockdown. Their lawyers made it sure that it will reach the Supreme Court. Kasi masyadong mabagal kung pupunta pa sila Court of Appeals, because they are being faced now of, they are facing what they called in their complaints inhumane demolition of their houses. So this is Lisel Torres et al. Versus Soliver C. Peras, presiding judge of RTC branches 15 and 35, GR number 250-170. I'd like to make a record also, Mr. Chair, that
Mr. Chair, parliamentary inquiry. Is the question addressed to the court administrator in a way influencing the Supreme Court to decide the case?
I think nobody can influence the Supreme Court because it's a separate and distinct branch of the government. It is just a simple question, and I hope the deputy court administrator will not answer if he feels it is exerting undue influence on him.
thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm putting this on record because of an earlier statement that this representation did not have all the names of the residents who were complaining of the demolition. As a matter of fact, on January 11, 2020, 15 residents and their families already wrote to the committee secretary of the Committee on Ethics and Privileges, asking that their case be heard on issue of dignity, reputation, and conduct of a lawmaker, and I was given a copy of their complaint filed in the Committee of Ethics. So it is not an imaginary. It's not imaginary, Mr. Chair. This is a real case filed by residents in.
But let's stick to 1197 House Resolution.
Yes, Mr.
Yes.
Chair.
Yes.
I was about to say, but you have rolled it already, and I move that it should be stricken out of the records, that particular manifestation.
We do not take striking out very like left and right we strike out. I think I've ruled and that is enough, DS Ominal.
Thank you.
Question to the Office of the Solicitor General. You said a while ago that the local government can use Republic Act 1052. Did you not say that?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Your Honor, we said
And under
that.
Section 3, if the local government resorts to Republic Act 10752, they will only expropriate rights of way, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Only rights of way.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, but in this case, they expropriated several lots of land belonging to residents. That's not the right of way because they're going to construct two multipurpose buildings in those area. In that case, Mr. Representative of the OSG, was it right for them not to have resorted it through your office? Kasi dapat kayo,
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, our office only represents the national government.
I know. But considering that when they utilized and resorted to Republic Act 10752, they did not only expropriate right of way, but a location for purposes of building two housing projects. Do you think the measure or the action taken by the LGU is correct?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, when we speak of the Right-of-Way Act, we speak not only of securing private lots, but also of implementing project on those lots secured by the government.
That is a right of way.
Yes, Your Honor.
That is your opinion.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And if they resorted to 10752, you already specified the three requirements. The amount equivalent to the sum of 100% of the value of land based on current value, zonal value of the BIR. That's number one. That's correct. The replacement cost of current value of the improvement and structures determined by the implementing agency, together with government financial institutions with adequate experience in property appraisal and independent property appraiser accredited by the BSP. And also the current market value of crops and trees within the property determined by government financial institution and independent appraiser. All this must have been immediately deposited in court in favor of the owner. Is it not?
Yes, Your Honor.
If these requirements are not deposited, for example, we have to ask whether or not the city government have deposited 100% of the value of the land based on current zonal value of the BIR. I'd like to ask the BIR, what is the present zonal value in Laman today? Is the BIR representative present?
Mr. Chair, it's a point of order. On matters which are now pending with the court and discussing on that very issue, would it be...
Mr. Chair, why am I being... I thought we had
I'm
an
just
agreement
asking-
already that I
I'm
will
just
not be
asking the ruling of the
interrupted.
That's why
Every time that
I want to figure out. That's why I'm also puzzled. I think let's just give him a little leeway. It's just the BIR who will answer.
No, because these are matters taken
Mr.
out
Chair,
by
he
the
has
court,
already
Mr. Chair.
recorded this
So,
continuing
it is-
objection. That was already enough. It was not necessary for him to interrupt this representation every time I raise a question. Otherwise, he will be misinterpreted as somebody who is trying to cover up this whole hearing.
Mr. Chair, I'm just doing what is supposed to be my duty as representative
You
of
are
the people.
not doing
And
what
it is my right,
supposed to be. You have no right to interrupt.
Mr. Chair. No, I'm raising an issue which is now
yes,
the
I
issue-
will rule on this DS Ominal under rules section 1, paragraph 2, the filing or pendency of a case before any court, tribunal, or administrative body shall not stop or abate any inquiry conducted or carried out by this committee.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I know that provisions of the law, but the point that I raised is that he is raising matters which is within the jurisdiction of the court. It's the court who could answer, not the BIR. Because he is asking
Let the resource person answer.
whether the definition has
Let
been
the
made.
resource person answer that if that is the case.
Okay, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Diaz Marcoleta, please.
Wala na lang gagawin, Mr. Chair, kung hindi interrupt ako, paano ako matatapos dito? How did you prepare the location before the actual construction of the building took place? Paano, siyempre, prepare mo yung area. Sabi mo, wala pang area. So, paano mo pin-repair? Paano nagkaroon ng area?
It was cleared before we were to
How did you
mobilize po.
clear the area? Is it not that there are residents and the houses and dwellings of the residents were demolished?
Point
When
of
we
order,
went
Mr. Chair.
when we went there on
Just another point of order, Mr. Chair. On
Ito
the
na naman tayo,
jurisdiction
Mr.
of
Chair.
on this particular issue. I
Ito
would
na
just
naman
like to know,
tayo.
Mr. Chair, because under our role, the jurisdiction of the
I
good
am
government is
asking,
only
Mr. Chair, the contractor, I am
government
not asking
officials
DS Waminal.
and employees.
DS
Mr.
Waminal
Chair.
is out of order,
And
Mr. Chair.
the one that is being-
Let me speak, DS Omenal and DS Marcoleta. The ruling of the chair is like in the Sandigan Bayan, if there is a case and it involves at least one government officials, all private respondents are part of that case. So they are part of this case because he's the contractor of the project. So he can be asked questions.
That's why, Mr. Chair, are we now in the stage where there is case that is being?
No,
We are still in
it's
the
not a
case
case.
build-up.
We're established. We keep on repeating that we give him leeway. Please give him leeway.
Okay. Mr.
Sir.
I'm just raising, Mr. Chair,
Yes,
as
sir.
part of the procedure.
Thank you, sir.
Why
Thank you.
private persons are now being.
Yes, it's like in the
interpolated when
you're
there is
familiar
no-
with how the Sandigan Bayan and
Yes.
Ombudsman accept complaints and accept
Yes,
the
Mr. Chair.
charges.
If it is already found in the informations that a private person has been in conspiracy with public officials.
Yes, we're not even in the step one, and
Yeah, that is
we're
in the
trying to
Sandigan
ferret out
Bayan.
the truth.
That's why I'm asking, Mr. Chair, if we are already on that stage, because there is already now a private persons being interpolated.
He's an invited
here.
guest in the list of invitees that was issued out on invitation on January 25.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chair. I am just manifesting my
Thank you.
point. to that
Noted.
particular matter.
Noted, sir.
So, representative from Alpha Omega,
yes, Your Honor.
please explain to us how you finally cleared the area.
We were issued a notice to resume on May 4, 2020 po, Your Honor. So when we went back,
You are not answering the question. How did you finally clear the area to make way for the construction?
when we were in the area po, Your Honor, it was already
Kaya
cleared
nga,
po.
you demolished the houses of the residents. Is that correct?
No po, Your Honor.
Okay. Di ba?
Hindi po, hindi po.
Eh, paano ka nakapagtayo? Eh, mayroong mga bahay doon.
Pag-resume namin po, Your Honor, it was already cleared na po, Your Honor.
Na-clear na lang. Biglang ang mga bahay biglang nawala. Ganun ba 'yon?
Hindi
You
naman
did
po,
not
Your
know-
Honor.
You did not know that the residents were demolished, Mr. Contractor? Did you
Hindi
not
po,
know
Your
that?
Honor.
Did you
Po,
not
Your
know
Honor.
that? You're supposed to be the contractor. Kaya hindi ka makapag-proceed, kaya meron kang 8 months na delay dahil nga hindi pa ready yung area. Hindi mo alam kung paano naging ready?
We were informed that they voluntarily demolished po, Your Honor.
You were informed that they were voluntary demolished. Nakita mo ba? Nakita mo ba yung showing kanina nung mga video clips?
Hindi
Is
po,
that
site
your
namin yun, Your
voluntary?
Honor.
Did you see the video clips?
Yes,
The
Your
three-
Honor.
You call that voluntary?
Hindi po, site namin yun, Your Honor.
I know, but is that voluntary? Kasi sinasabi mo voluntary, hindi mo pala alam ngayon, nagsasabi ka voluntary. Okay. Comsec. Will you please show the slides para makita natin yung mga slides 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Technical service, please show slides 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Mr. Chair, parliamentary inquiry. Is the question addressed to the court administrator in a way influencing the Supreme Court to decide the case?
I think nobody can influence the Supreme Court because it's a separate and distinct branch of the government. It is just a simple question, and I hope the deputy court administrator will not answer if he feels it is exerting undue influence on him.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm putting this on record because of an earlier statement that this representation did not have all the names of the residents who were complaining of the demolition. As a matter of fact, on January 11, 2020, 15 residents and their families already wrote to the committee secretary of the Committee on Ethics and Privileges, asking that their case be heard on issue of dignity, reputation, and conduct of a lawmaker, and I was given a copy of their complaint filed in the Committee of Ethics. So it is not unimaginary. It's not imaginary, Mr. Chair. This is a real case filed by residents in.
But let's stick to 1197 House Resolution.
Yes, Mr.
Yes.
Chair.
Yes.
I was about to say, but you have rolled it already, and I move that it should be stricken out of the records. That particular.
We do not take striking out very like left and right. We strike out. I think I've ruled, and that is enough. DS Oaminal.
Thank you.
Oh, let's go back to DPWH. Sabi mo kanina, where is he?
Hipona, Engineer
Oh,
Hipona.
Engineer Hipona, sabi mo kanina, kasama na kayo yung Malaubang. Oh, nagsimula sa Malaubang, December 27. After 4 days, ibig mo sabihin 71.36% ng completion ng project?
Sir, our report here, sir, is that 71.36 as of May 31, 2020.
Hindi nga ito sinasabi ko, pabayaan mo yung May mo. Ang sinasabi ko, ito yung report ninyo as of January 31. Hawak ko nga eh. Pagkatapos sinasabi mo kanina, siguro po kamo yung mga project.
I don't have any personal knowledge regarding that, sir, because according to our report, sir, it is May, that is 71.36.
Oh, edi ngayon, meron nga ghost project. Because in here, as of January 31, 2020, 71.36% na. Ngayon, pinapalitan mo. May na naman. Kanina, tinatanong
Please,
ko,
Marcoleta, please wind up
if
your
you're
40
disputing
minutes.
this report, sabi mo, hindi. So, meron ditong nagtatago, Mr. Chair. So, I will resort to the next round. Next hearing na? O sige, para makapag-prepare naman sila.